Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be covering my updated draft for Game Week 1. If you were unsure who to include on your draft, which players you should be targeting, which fixtures you should be targeting, then this video is the perfect place to start. The team that I've built has a long-term strategy in mind, as I'm currently looking to wildcard in Game Week 8 or 9. With your drafts, you should be looking at the long-term goal rather than concentrating on the first few game weeks. If you do enjoy today's video, then please like, please comment, and please subscribe, as we are super close to reaching 250 subs, and that would be absolutely amazing. But without further ado, let's dive into my Game Week 1 draft. And starting off our draft in goal is Robert Sanchez. Owned him last season and I'm going with him again, as I do believe that he is the best 4.5 million goalkeeper in the game at the current moment. Last season played 37 games, scoring 126 points, which made him the highest scoring 4.5 million goalkeeper. He also underachieved on his point scoring as well, as he was expected to score 138 points last season. As well as that, Brighton do have a really good start to the season in terms of fixtures. Obviously facing Man United away isn't ideal, but after that, Newcastle, West Ham, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Good long-term fixtures for my 4.5 million goalkeeper there. Originally I did have David Raya, but with Brentford potentially signing another goalkeeper, I just didn't want to take that risk. I wanted to go for Sanchez, who is nailed and plays for a very good defence in Brighton as well. Last season, Brighton was 6th for goals conceded and also was 6th for shots conceded. So very good, placing them within like the top 6 defences within the league last year. And Sanchez was a massive part of that as well. Also because, you know, Brighton aren't as good a team, he is going to pick up save points as well, which will massively help him in terms of the bonus points ranking. I'm still not like 100% sure I'm going to go with Sanchez, but if you are looking for a 4.5 million goalkeeper, I don't think you can go wrong with him. So that is the start of our team. And starting off our defence, of course, it was going to be this man. It is Trent Alexander-Arnold, the highest scoring defender in FPL last season. 12 assists, 2 goals, and to be at 7.5 million again this year is absolutely insane. Incredible value for your money. Like, he's just absolutely unbelievable. Also scored the second most bonus points last season, 1 behind KDB. Like I said, he's a bonus point magnet, points machine. He's going to be in everyone's team. He's going to have probably plus 100% effective ownership. If you haven't got him in your team, you're probably doing something wrong. He's just an easy pick. Get him in your team. The next defender that I have selected is Tomiyasu at 4.5 million. The reason I've selected Tomiyasu is down to the fact of Arsenal's really good fixtures to start the season. Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Aston Villa at home, Manchester United away, Everton at home and Brentford away. Really good fixtures up until Game Week 8, Game Week 9-ish, when I am going to start to implement my wildcard and potentially, you know, look to switch up the 4.5 million defender slot. I also like him. Previously, like I mentioned in my past video, I like to see my team at the start as kind of placeholders. He represents really good value at 4.5 million because if he doesn't start the season well, I can switch him to another 4.5 million defender, no hassle. If Nico Williams really starts the season well, I can just drop him down and use that extra 0.5 million elsewhere within my team as well. Last season, played 21 games, scoring 75 points and only getting 1 assist. He is kind of a more defensive-minded fullback, which is something that you don't obviously see quite as often within the game now. But he was a big miss the second half of the season while he was out injured, and you could definitely tell there's a difference in the Arsenal defence when he wasn't there. So I do believe that he'll be the most nailed player within that Arsenal back line. You could potentially go Ben White, but there are obviously question marks about whether or not he's going to be first choice this season. Moving on to the next player within our back line, and of course it had to be this man. It is Reece James. Last season, 26 games, 5 goals, 9 assists. Absolutely phenomenal stuff from him. He was the second highest scoring Chelsea defender as well, only behind Rudiger, but he was only 9 points behind Rudiger despite playing 8 games left. That shows the power that these fullbacks have within the game. Overall as well, he was the 10th highest scoring player despite only playing 26 games. Like, it's unreal the numbers that Reece James was putting up last year. Obviously, to start the season as well, Chelsea do have a little bit of a difficult start with Tottenham in game week 2, but after that, it's Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham, Fulham, and Liverpool in game week 8. But we don't know what's going to be happening at that point in the game, and potentially we could look to maybe shift him on because there are plenty of other players at this price point. But for me, Reece James, he's got to be in your team. If you're going him or Chilwell, I think they're very, very similar players, but my only concern with going for that is that Chelsea are going to have obviously a new back line. Koulibaly's coming in. I think Kimpembe. I don't think Ake is happening anymore. So it is going to take a little bit of time for these top quality players to kind of adjust and get used to playing with each other. There's potentially rumours as well that Chelsea are switching to a back 4, which would massively reduce kind of the potential that Reece James and Chilwell have to bomb forward. They're excellent assets when they play in the 5 at the back because they're basically playing like wingers. But if that's kind of taken away, then I do believe it does reduce their kind of value. But at the moment, with Chelsea playing a back 5, we are going for Reece James. Moving on to the next player, and it is Perisic from Tottenham Hotspur. Last season, 35 games, 8 goals, 6 assists. A fantastic player for Spurs to sign within that wing-back system that Conte is going to absolutely bully the league with yet again. Obviously, Spurs have a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of fixtures, facing Manchester City and Chelsea within their first 8. But then there are some absolute beauts in there. Nottingham Forest, Fulham as well, Leicester and Southampton. Really weak defences last year that can definitely be capitalised on, and newly promoted teams. Obviously, we've seen the power of wing-backs in Conte systems in previous systems. Marcos Alonso and Victor Moses, and then he's gone over and done it in Italy, and Perisic was one of the main benefactors of that. You've got to have a Conte wing-back in your team because they're absolutely unbelievable. We saw that last year with Matt Doherty and other players alike, and I do believe that Perisic is probably the most nailed of the wing-backs. It's a little bit hard to tell kind of who's getting which spot at the moment, so a lot of the question marks about that. He is a little bit of a question mark as well within my team, just down to the fact I don't know if he's going to be a little bit of a rotation risk with Spurs also playing Champions League this football. Let me know, are you going Perisic in your team? He is very, very highly owned, and there's a reason behind that because he probably is going to haul at some point this season, but is he worth the risk? Let me know down in the comments below. And moving on to our final defender, we have gone for Aymeric Laporte. Obviously a fantastic centre-back. City have absolutely unbelievable fixtures as well to start the season. West Ham, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Tottenham and Wolves. Honestly, unbelievable fixtures for City. Last year, scored 160 points, getting 4 goals, 2 assists in 33 games. Was 41 points behind Cancelo, and this is the big thing with my team at the moment. I'm not 100% convinced by Laporte. I do want Cancelo because I've seen so many other people have him, but we'll see a little bit later where that extra 1 million has gone. But I do really like Laporte as an option. He probably is the most nailed centre-back within the City side. Especially if they lose Ake as well, there's obviously a lot less potential for rotation, a little bit of pep roulette. No one really wants to play that. My other concern with Laporte as well is last season was the first time that he scored 4 goals in a campaign. I think the previous high was 2. But, going with that, City are the best defence in the league. Only conceded 26 last season and got 21 clean sheets. You've got to have a City defender. If it's not Cancelo, probably Laporte or Ederson are your next best options, but still umming and ahhing about Laporte. Do I go Cancelo? Do I go Laporte? Let me know down in the comments below. But with Laporte in mind, let's move on to our midfield slots. And moving on to our midfield, this is kind of where the chunk of the Cancelo money has gone. And the first player that we're going to look at is Mason Mount. Last season, 32 games, 11 goals, 11 assists. Really, really good season in terms of output for Mason Mount. His best in front of goal and his best in terms of assists. On set pieces as well. And last season, averaged 0.80 goals and assists per 90. That's nearly 1 goal or 1 assist per 90 minutes that Mason Mount played. Very, very good. And he's a little bit of a differential at the moment. I think his ownership is around 9%. Maybe it's gone a little bit higher since the last time I checked. There's no one really kind of on Mason Mount at the moment. Chelsea have really good fixtures as well, as we went through with Reece James, Everton, Tottenham, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham, Fulham and Liverpool in game week 8. But really strong fixtures for Mason Mount. I really like him. I love the fact that they've signed Sterling as well. I think that will make Mason Mount a better player, giving him potentially more options. You know, obviously when you've got people like Werner and Lukaku who don't want to finish up front, it does make your job a little bit more harder. I think the absence of Rudiger, though, will impact on his assists from corners and stuff like that. But I really do like Mason Mount as an option. He's been in my game week 1 draft since I opened the game this season. I don't think I'm going to take him out. He is probably going to be the player that would have to make way if I wanted Cancelo. But at the moment, I'm on the Mason Mount vibe. I'm on the Mason Mount train. I'm probably going to be the only person come game week 1 who's on it, but he could be a huge differential for me going into game week 1. Let me know, are you considering Mason Mount? Are you not? Just let me know down in the comments below. And moving on to our middle of our midfield, and of course it is Mohamed Salah at 30 million. Of course we're going to have this man, no brainer. He's probably going to be in absolutely everyone's team, so effective ownership through the absolute roof. He's going to be everyone's game week 1 captain as well, with newly promoted Fulham away. Last season, 23 goals, 14 assists, and collated 265 points. Amazing first half. Start to the season, but kind of didn't come back the same player after AFCON, and then missing out on the World Cup with Egypt. You know, I think it obviously affected him mentally, and of course it massively would have an impact. But hopefully, you know, the summer, a little bit of a break, a little bit of recovery and time to get going as well. I think Salah's going to be a really good long-term option as well this year, because he doesn't have World Cup football. It means he's going to get a break. He's going to have a month-ish off to kind of recover, and he'll probably be one of the players that I'd want after Christmas. But he's also going to be one of the players I want at the start of this year. We've gone through Liverpool's fixtures, really fantastic. Bournemouth away in there, Everton away, who he absolutely loves to score against as well, on penalties. But my big concern with kind of Liverpool assets is, will his numbers potentially drop without Mane? I think Mane was criminally underrated during his time in the Premier League. Obviously, especially in the FPL community, because we could just never afford him, because he was always like 11, 12 million, you know, kind of out of our price points, especially when we've got such a fantastic player like Salah. But let me know down in the comments below, will Mane absence maybe affect Salah? And moving on to our final midfield slot, it is Luis Diaz, who came in like a house on fire in the January window. 13 games, 4 goals and 3 assists for Liverpool. I think with the Jota injury, kind of that news coming out, it does make him more of a nailed option. Obviously, Liverpool only have Darwin Núñez, Firmino, Salah and Diaz, and I don't think Firmino's probably going to start the season. I think they'll probably go with Darwin, but we'll have to kind of see how that fluctuates. But for me, I'd never actually looked into how well Luis Diaz had done at Porto before making this video. During the first half of that season, 18 games, 14 goals, 4 assists, with a goals plus assists per 90 at 1.09. That means every 90 minutes he's averaging a goal or an assist. That's what we want to see in terms of FPL output. At 8 million as well for one of the best attacking teams in the league is like joke. Absolute joke in terms of value. He should be in everyone's team. I imagine he probably will when he scores against Fulham on that first day. As well with kind of Mason Mount and Luis Diaz, they are both at the same price point of 8 million, and that's really good kind of thing that I want within my team. As I said in my previous video, you kind of want people to be like placeholders at this point, and having 2 £8 million midfielders is really good. Simply down to the fact that you can then switch them out if they are not doing well, or if their fixtures fall, because there are so many players within that kind of price contingency. You know, you got Saka, you got Kulusevski, a little bit more expensive, you've got Bowen. There's honestly Foden, Mahrez as well. Absolutely amazing players, all within a similar price point that you can just kind of hop and switch between, which is really good. Means that we're not taking heavy minuses, and that's kind of the thought process behind my team structure. But let me know, have I convinced you to take a punt on Luis Diaz? I don't even think he should be a punt at this point. He's a brilliant player, so go check him out, go add him into your teams. But let's move on to the forward line. And moving on to our strikers, we start off with Gabriel Jesus, who has made the switch from Manchester City to Arsenal last season, 28 games, 8 goals, 8 assists, but played a large majority of the season out on the right kind of wing-ish area, kind of cutting inside. So obviously that explains the assists and lack of goals. Worked obviously previously under Mikel Arteta, and I think he's going to be a real fantastic addition to that Arsenal front line. He's going to be interchangeable. Obviously, he's got the passing ability that we've seen at City as well to kind of link up the play and be a really, really good key man for Arsenal, because I do feel that's potentially why they missed out on Champions League football. They didn't go and sign a forward after Aubameyang left, and Lacazette just wasn't up to the task. Jesus is now the front man, the main man for Arsenal, and Arsenal have a really, really good start to the season. Similarly, talking about placeholders, Gabriel Jesus is another one of these at 8 million. There are so many good forwards at the 7.5 million price range that I probably want to hop on during some point this season, and when Jesus' fixtures kind of falter or his form falters, then I can easily switch him on and off. But let me know, are you going with Gabriel Jesus? I think his ownership's like 45% plus. And it really does make sense. At 8 million, like if he can start the season well, is absolutely amazing money for value. But yeah, let me know. Are you going Gabriel Jesus in your team, or are you looking at potentially other forward options? And moving on to our final forward. Of course it was going to be this man, the thumbnail man. It is Erling Haaland. Last season, 24 games, 22 goals, 8 assists. Absolutely incredible from Erling Haaland. Over the past 3 seasons, he's played 81 games, scoring 78 goals, getting 20 assists, a total of 98, ladies and gentlemen, goal contributions in 81 games. Like, these numbers that he's putting up are absolutely ludicrous. The man knows where the back of the net is. He's honestly just like scintillating to watch. Fantastic footballer. His goals plus assists per 90 last season were 1.41. 1.41. There is no one else in world football putting up these absolutely ludicrous numbers, ladies and gentlemen. And people are talking about, you know, he's going to be a flop. I can't fathom it, to be honest, because these numbers that he's putting up are just like mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling, and the fact that people haven't got him in the team is just dumb. Like, I think if you've got Kane, the only reason I'd go for Kane is the fact that I'd potentially want to be captaining him. Otherwise, I'm just sticking with Haaland. We've been through the City fixtures. West Ham, Bournemouth is an easy captaincy option for Game Week 2. Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Game Week 5, Nottingham Forest at home. Absolute guaranteed hat-trick there for Erling Haaland. I'm calling it right now. It's going to happen. Game Week 6, Aston Villa, and Game Week 7, Tottenham, and Game Week 8, Wolves. I'm going Haaland. I think if you're going Kane, you've got to be captaining him, because otherwise you're going to be switching to Haaland in Game Week 2, and it's just like, I don't see the point in kind of booking in a transfer Game Week 2, you know what I mean? Like, the only reason I'm going to potentially change this team is if there's like a player misses out due to rotation, or there's maybe like someone who just absolutely blows my mind in Game Week 1. Like, other than that, I'm not going to change this team for Game Week 2. You know, there's just no point to it. But before we finish up, moving on to the bench, we have got a 4 million goalkeeper, Andreas Pereira in midfield, who plays for Fulham now. He's probably going to be the most highly owned 4.5 million forward in the game, just because he's going to play like pretty regular football. Then we've also got Da Silva from Brentford, speaking to someone at work, and they reckon that he is going to play regularly. Missed a lot of last season due to injury, so I've gone with that one. I'm still waiting to see if Harry Winks moves. If he moves to Bournemouth or Everton, potentially, he will be the 4.5 million in that slot. And then up front, the last player in our team is Archer. Obviously, a lot of people are going from Greenwood from Leeds. Very good option, but I've gone for Cameron Archer. Played against, I think it was Walsall, and scored in Villa's first pre-season game. So, you know, that's the only reason we've gone for him. See if he potentially can get some minutes. Obviously, under Gerrard, there are a lot of forward options at Aston Villa, but we'll have to wait and see how that one kind of works out. But he's 4.5 million. He's going to be my third sub every week. I'm not too fussed. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed today's video, then please do comment down below, and please do subscribe. Like I said, we are trying to hit 250 subs like as soon as possible. I was hoping before the start of the season. It's looking very, very possible. Also, go check me out on Twitter at FPLTom_. I tweet a lot of good stuff on there, so, go check me out. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please do like, please do subscribe. And most importantly, have an amazing day and let me know what you think of my Game Week 1 draft.